Hey guys, Josh here with another how-to kind of for Marvel. On the right side of the screen, I'll have annotations for obviously the ones I've done before, being Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Captain America the Winter Soldier, or not Winter Soldier, Civil War, sorry, and Captain Marvel. So go check those out. People seem to really like them. I hope you guys like them. This one's going to be a bit different. Obviously, I'm not really predicting stuff as much as I am talking about certain elements we have of the film and saying, basically what they should focus on and what I think, should be here, why I think this is good, yada, yada. So it's kind of a different one from the other how-tos for Marvel. It's not really even a how-to. It's more so of like certain things. But anyways, a lot of you guys have, commented on them and asked, make more. So I'm like, all right, I'll make more. So let's start off with the first slide I have here, which is my checklist. I have 5 things this movie, I think should have. Number 1, personal story. The past few Marvel movies have been go big or go home stories. Guardians of the Galaxy, Universal Ending Threat. Captain America the Winter Soldier, national, possibly global threat. Iron Man 3, national, possible global threat. You see a trend here? Thor the Dark World. Technically, I guess multi-universal, multi-dimensional kind of threat. They still haven't really clarified how the 9 realms work in the MCU. But basically what I'm getting at here is that all the previous Marvel movies have been these giant, movies. Like the stakes are insanely high. This is time for Marvel to breathe a little bit and make a personal story that when you leave the movie, you can, really connect with on a level more so than, hey, the main character looks like, a human kind of thing. Also, the reason I say this is because Black Panther will be the next movie that will really have a kind of personal feel to it. And the reason I say that is because we have Thor Ragnarok, Captain America Civil War, and Captain Marvel. Undoubtedly, those are going to deal with global level threats. But Black Panther presumably will be taking place in Wakanda. It'll deal with a personal threat to T'Challa himself. If not them even going so far as to showing him getting the mantle passed down to him, which is another thing this movie is doing that they haven't done yet in the Marvel films, which is a passing of legacy. Characters like Ant-Man and Black Panther, that's a mantle that has been passed down, from generation to generation, or, for Ant-Man's case, it's been going from Hank Pym to Scott Lang, Eric O'Grady. There's like 4 or 5 Ant-Mans. Just, including Justice 616 Ant-Mans, not talking about other universe Ant-Mans. So really, they need to keep the story personal, focus on Hank Pym mentoring Scott, trying to help his daughter out. I really hope they keep it personal and don't go too big. Like, I don't want this to end and there being some sort of massive news story like Ant-Man saves the day, saves New York, saves the United States. No. It should end, like him just going home being a good father to his daughter. His daughter, gets better. She gets her procedure, if that's the route they're going to go with her having health issues. And then he's a better father. And that goes into the number 2 thing, establish your theme early. If the movie's theme is going to be about redemption, they need to establish that early on so that can drive this movie. Because as far as I'm concerned, if they just try establishing that in the middle of the film, like if they try having a bunch of things going on and there's no driving theme for the film, and then smack dab like 40 minutes in they're like redemption, that's not going to work. A reason why Batman has, his parents die in the beginning of every movie is because that sets the theme for the rest of the movie. After that happens, it just goes full on Batman. If you were to have Bruce Wayne for the first 40 minutes, frolicking around with his family, and then his parents get shot, you're gonna complain, oh, like that's just kind of there. That's kind of messing with the flow of the film. So really they need to establish theme early, and that probably wasn't the best example, but that's the first thing that came to mind. Number 3 though is flashbacks to Hank and Janet. The heavy rumor right now is that we'll get in the 1960s flashbacks Hank Pym as Ant-Man working for S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm totally fine with that. Hopefully we also get Janet. I'm not sure if they've cast anyone for Janet. I looked it up, didn't really find anything for that. Also, I hope they don't go the abuser route. If they really want to do something, it'd be really... I think I'd be fine with them just having maybe like he hit her once, either in a drunk rage or something like that. Like, it needs to be something where he wasn't himself. Because when in comics, when he hit Janet, he didn't beat Janet, by the way. He hit Janet once, actually, too. Reed Richards hit his wife and, Franklin multiple times. Peter Parker even hit his wife twice. But when Hank Pym hit his wife once, he was insane, and he was even Ant-Man. He was Yellow Jacket, which makes the character of Yellow Jacket so much more of a villain for Hank Pym. But, yeah, if they want to do something like that, I'd be fine with it. I just don't want them to go overboard with it like they do in the Ultimate Universe, where they make him a legitimate wife beater. Like, that's going a little too far. And the kind of feeling I got from watching the teaser is that definitely something happened between Hank and Janet before, Janet died. And I feel maybe when Janet died, it wasn't with the most closure for Hank. So that's the kind of, and I guess his relationship with his daughter is very strained, which probably leads into, why her name's Hope Van Dyne and not Hope Pym. So I hope they go into that. They really do need to explain that, especially for the comic book fans, because they're going to tear this movie apart if they don't go into, Wasp and things like that. Especially with the recent rumors that Hope Van Dyne will become the new Wasp and will become a love interest for the new Ant-Man, Scott Lang, which is a nice nod to the comic relationship. But anyways, moving on, S.H.I.E.L.D. related. I mentioned it before. They need to have some sort of reference to S.H.I.E.L.D., some sort of connection to S.H.I.E.L.D. in the past. Reason I say that is because S.H.I.E.L.D. for the MCU is what Vidrasil is for the Nine Realms. It's what connects everything together. And we can't ignore that. That's how they've built the MCU up. Thus, we need to respect that's how they built it up. That's how they've connected it. Not saying they need to go Scott Lang going to S.H.I.E.L.D., obviously, because that wouldn't be possible. But what I'm saying is, if they mention the Hank Pym flashbacks, have him working for S.H.I.E.L.D. That's all you need to do. That's really all you need to do. Number 5, Giant Man ending or nothing at all. Reason I say this is because this is Ant-Man, the movie. You don't go Giant Man at all in the movie until the end. That's something you do at the very end to beat the bad guy, basically. That's what I'm getting at here. I think it'd be a really cool nod to comic book fans if maybe like throughout the film, Hank Pym's working on something special to help Scott, defeat Darren Cross once they obviously figure out Darren Cross's Yellow Jacket. Because probably we'll get 2 fight scenes. First one, Scott runs into Yellow Jacket for the first time, has their first fight. Scott barely escapes. In the second fight, Scott's going to pull something out of his ass, and he's going to win. It'd be really cool if that thing he pulled out of his ass to win is becoming Giant Man. And maybe even squashing. It'd be really funny if he just squashes Yellow Jacket. Because Marvel would probably turn that into some sort of comedic scene in the veins of when Hulk smashed Loki. So that's my checklist for, this film. And let's get on to the last thing I really want to talk about. I don't have much to talk about really for this film in general because they've already made so much of it. But it's Yellow Jacket. First and foremost, he's quite the poetic choice. Reason I say that is because Yellow Jacket, like I said before, is the reason why Hank Pym's character has been dragged through the mud for so long, excluding Ultron. And Ultron's forgiven for the most part, but the part where he slapped his wife, he hit his wife once, that never is forgiven about the character. They always bring that back up. They always use that to bring the character down. And the character has truly been a character of redemption ever since that happened. And I think it's great Yellow Jacket's not Hank Pym because it goes to number 5, fan service. It gives fans what they want and what they don't want. Because fans want to see Yellow Jacket. Because fans love the costume design for the most part. Fans, just think he's cool. But at the same time, fans don't want to see, they don't want to be reminded of wife-beating Hank Pym. Especially the version of him that was over glorified in the Ultimate Universe. Ultimate Universe Hank Pym, I might have mentioned it before, he was a hardcore wife beater, versus the 616 universe where, it's just a guy, he was insane, he was mentally unstable, hit his wife once, regretted it, and tried, winning her back and winning everyone else's trust back ever since. Number 2, he's a villain for Pym and Lang. By having Darren Cross be Yellow Jacket, you have the neat opportunity to really have a Obadiah Stane, Tony Stark like kind of relationship, antagonizing relationship with Hank Pym and Darren Cross, and you get Yellow Jacket's relationship, obviously as a villain, for Scott Lang's Ant-Man. So you win on both fronts here, and it's very much so like the Ironmonger, Obadiah Stane, Tony Stark, Iron Man kind of relationship from Iron Man 1, and I'm sure there are bound to be parallels between the two when the film comes out. I just hope they handle it really well without it being, copy and paste, because reviewers and critics are going to tear it apart. Like, really, the only problem with the Marvel movies at this point is that they've been so consistently good that critics and reviewers are going to look for something to tear apart. And if they can find something that viably they can exploit as a big flaw in the movie, they'll take it. Because, once you get something going with it being really good, people want to see it go bad. Just like Green Goblin said, everybody likes to see the hero do well, but even more than that, they like to see the hero fall. And man, oh man, news reports are going to love to report when Marvel makes that first really bad movie, or they make that first mediocre movie. But number 3, gives Hank Pym some space. If they made Hank Pym Yellow Jacket instead, like in the comics, the character of Hank Pym would be all over the place for this movie. He'd be a mentor, yet a villain. Yet, they'd have to explain, is he mentally unstable? What happened? Why is he mentally unstable? It'd be a little bit too much for presumably 2 hours or less movie. I think it clocks in like a minute 40 or something, or hour 40 minutes. That'd be a bit much to really jam in there and still have the film not feeling very rushed. So really giving Hank Pym space is the best option. Just let him be the mentor. Let him be the mentor. Don't make him more than he needs to be for the sake of the film. Really, that's why I think this is a great idea. Number 4, there's really nobody else when you think about it. You need a villain that can challenge the hero at his own game, if not be better at the hero at his own game. So at the end of the film, when the hero inevitably wins, is much more, satisfying. Example being, Hulk had Abomination. Iron Man, Ironmonger. Iron Man 2, Ivan Vanko. You know what I mean? So, Captain America, Red Skull. So, and then also Captain America, Winter Soldier. So as you can see, you need a villain that's similar to the character, yet different. And Yellow Jacket's perfect. He's undoubtedly going to be able to shrink like Ant-Man. He is undoubtedly going to be able to manipulate insects like Ant-Man. So that's really where it's going to become, a true threat for the, hero. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty cool to see, personally. And then also fan service, like I said before, comic book fans, as soon as the Ant-Man movie was announced, they were wondering, hey, are we ever going to get Yellow Jacket 2? Is that going to be in a sequel? What's going to happen with that? So, honestly, that's all I really have for this. Comment below with your guys' thoughts. What do you guys want to see in Ant-Man? What do you not want to see in Ant-Man? And I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, subscribe if you haven't yet. Like the video if you liked it, obviously. Share it on social media. Speaking of social media, we have a Twitter, so follow us on Twitter. We have a Facebook, so like us on Facebook. We do a lot on the social medias that we don't do on YouTube in particular. And we'll see you guys next time.